Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. I am Cassandra Terry, and today is Transformation Tuesday. I am trying to get my live going on IG as well, and it's giving me the blues. So give me just a second to get that going, and then I will give you the focus that you deserve. My goodness. I had it set up, but I did something. Okay, here we go. Today is Transformation Tuesday, and we will get started in just 1 second. I am almost there. So much for trying to be prepared. Transformation Tuesday. Boom. All right, that's getting connected as well. So, thank you guys so much for joining. Again, I'm Cassandra Terry. Good morning, Kimberly. Cassandra Terry, your manifesting miracle maker. And on Tuesdays, we talk about transformation and what it actually means to transform. I think a lot of people have a misunderstanding. Good morning, Cheryl. Welcome of what transformation really is. I talked a little bit yesterday about when we see people's lives, their lives, and what they've accomplished, we're often looking at the finished product after many, many years of hard work and sacrifice. And so that's what we want to dig into is what does transformation really look like? And what are some tips? I've got 7 tips for you this morning that can aid you in your transformation journey. Good morning, Cliff. Welcome. Thanks for joining again. Let's see. Are we ready to go? The 7 steps to supercharge your transformation journey. So, first of all, like I said, transformation is a process, it's development, it's evolution, and none of those are quick fix words, right? When you're evolving, I always use on Transformation Tuesday. Good morning, Camille. I always use the graphic of the butterfly, and you see the different stages that it's going through in order to get to that finished product that we love so much and that we admire, those beautiful wings, the ability to just float along where the air takes it. Transformation has taken place and evolution has taken place. A lot of hard work has happened that we're not paying attention to. We don't see when it's just a larva. We don't see when it's a caterpillar as much. And if we do see the caterpillar, we don't care too much for it, right? It's not until it's gone through that evolutionary period where it comes into its being of what it was created to fully be that we really appreciate the butterfly. But we know there's distinct stages that that butterfly has gone to get to that place of beauty that we marvel at. And our lives are no different. We forget that there are stages and that there's important things happening in each of those stages. So when you're in that beginning stage, it may feel dark, it may feel confined, it feels confined, it feels like there's nothing really going on, it's just a bad place. But that's where learning is going on. That's where energy is being built. That's where you're learning the things that you need in order to get to that final stage. So remember, it's a process. It's typically not an overnight success or an overnight sensation as we often think. So be prepared for the process. And the first step in order to be prepared for the process is you have to know what your butterfly state is. Where are you trying to get to? What are you trying to accomplish? What is it that you truly want? So you have to get really, really clear about what your goals are. And then you need to start to learn more about yourself. But when we're getting clear on those goals, we want to start by, are you guys familiar? For those who've listened to me talk about transformation or goal setting before, I'm sure you've heard me talk about SMART goals. I ran across SMART goals because of my career. Hello, Ronan. I am in corporate America. that's something that we talk about all the time is making sure that our goals are smart. And when they're smart, they are not just a dream, but there's a lot of thought and effort that have been put into just developing what that goal is in the first place. We haven't even got to the point where we're working on it, but we're just getting really clear about what we want. And the S in smart is specific. You have to be really, really specific about what it is you want. Otherwise, you may not even realize when you get it. So, the first thing is in that specificity. If you think about a car, I want a new car by the end of the year. Basic goal, but for some people, that's a huge thing. So, if you want a new car, is it a car or is it a truck? Is it an SUV? What color is it? Is it four wheel? Is it automatic? Is it electric? I mean, you have to start to really peel back until you can see that thing coming into be. And the only way that you can see it is if you get real specific about what it is you want. If you want a house, is it one story? Is it two-story? How many bedrooms? How many baths? What does your front yard look like? What's going on in the back? What color is the house? Is it brick? Is it not? What does the exterior look like? How big is your bedroom? What's your bathroom look like? You have to really start to lay out what that end goal looks like. What's your butterfly experience? And that means getting specific. And then the M stands for measurable. Anything that we can measure, we can accomplish, and we can also see our progress along the way. So your goal has to be specific and it has to be measurable. So if you're looking to get a car or a house or whatever, get healthy or whatever the case may be, you have to set some milestones along the way so that you can track your progress. You can see yourself moving towards that butterfly state in your life. And why is that important? For one, it helps you to know when you're on track and when you've lost your way. And so you can readjust and get back on track if you've taken a wrong turn. It also is an encouragement. It is an encouragement when you can look at where you started and see that you've made your way some progress. Then it's a moment to clap and cheer and get excited about the progress that you've made, and that'll give you the encouragement to keep moving. Sometimes we're so focused on that end goal that we miss all the little milestones along the way that we're accomplishing. And I want to encourage you to not only recognize those, but to celebrate them, because those will give you everything that you need from the standpoint of more energy, more excitement, more encouragement to keep moving forward. Good morning, Christina. I see you there on TikTok. And Judy, good morning. I see you on LinkedIn. So your goals are so far specific. We know exactly what the end product looks like. And then it's measurable. We've set some milestones along the way that are going to get us to the end goal. The A in SMART is attainable. I always use the same analogy. So for those of you who have heard this before, forgive me, but it's an easy one to realize. So I just turned 55 recently. And I grew up in a basketball family and I raised a basketball family. My girls went to college on basketball scholarships. My son played. There's basketball all around. My sister played for Baylor as the starting point guard for all 4 years that she was there. So to say that we love basketball is an understatement. Now, at 55, I can still improve specific basketball skills. If I just took the ball and just dribbled every day, just dribbled a little bit every day, my ball handling skills would improve. So that's an attainable goal. But I could never be 6'1". I could never be more than the 5'1" that I am. So hoping and wishing and praying and trying to manifest height is not going to happen. It's not something that's attainable. So it would actually have the opposite effect of what a good goal is. You become frustrated. You get frustrated because you don't see yourself getting what it is that you're after. So you do have to put some real thought into your goals and make sure that they're attainable. I don't mean easy. So I want the goals to stretch you. You want to learn new things. You want to get out of your comfort zone, but they have to be something that is attainable. No matter how much I wish My complexion, the color of my skin is not going to change much, right? It is what it is. So I can have a goal of having really clear, smooth skin. So I can work on that. But I'm never going to be anything other than African American and have this tone. So that wouldn't be attainable. So if I'm setting goals that are really outside of what could be, then I'm setting myself up for just failure and disappointment. So be careful about the goals. It's okay that they're ambitious, but we don't want them to be impossible, right? So they're specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, and the R is relevant. The goal has to be relevant. Relevant to who? Relevant to you as the person who's working towards that goal. If it's not relevant to you, really, you're not likely to achieve it. You may muscle through because you're still in that people pleasing phase of life, but most people. Hi everyone, Cassandra, can you please send me the link to join today? So Chris, I don't understand how you're seeing me if you haven't joined. It looks like you're already here. Um, that confuses me. But Judy, if you don't mind, or Ronan, you guys that are on LinkedIn, Chris Berryman is asking for the link to join this live. So if someone on LinkedIn could send it to him, I've got three systems going right now, and I'm not able to do it. But if you guys could help, if anybody could help Chris, I would appreciate it. So we talked about the goals being relevant relevant to you. Society tells us all kinds of things as to how we're supposed to look, how we're supposed to behave, what success looks like. But if that's not what you really believe, if it's not what you really want for your life, it gets more and more and more difficult to achieve those things because they're really outside of the your desires. Thank you, Judy. I see you gave the link. I appreciate that. So make sure that it's not your parents' goal, it's not some role model's goal, it's not what society says your life should look like, but that you've actually spent the time with yourself to tap in and get clear about what's important to you. Make sure that's important to you and it aligns with your values. Then you're more likely to do the work and to keep moving forward until you reach that butterfly phase. And then the last item in SMART is the T, and that stands for time bound or timely. And that basically means that you give yourself a schedule. It is the StreamYard link to join the live stream. Oh, you want to join StreamYard? Okay, give me just 1 second. I can do that. I've misunderstood you, Chris. I apologize. Uh, you guys excuse me for just 1 second. Let me see if I can get Chris what he's looking for. You'll see me, but I'm afraid that you guys on Facebook and other places lost me. So, Chris, I'm sorry. I'll have to get that to you next time around because I've got so much going on now that I keep interrupting the flow of my conversation, trying to get you the link. So, I apologize. Hopefully, for you guys on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube, that I'm back. If somebody could give me a thumbs up so I know that you guys are able to see me, I would appreciate it because I think I lost you all for a bit. All right, so back to the SMART goals. SMART goals, in summary, are specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're relevant, and they're time bound. You set yourself a goal that you set yourself a deadline, a big deadline to hit that butterfly stage, the end goal, but then little deadlines along the way to keep you moving towards the goals. I have a workbook that thanks Kim. I have a workbook that's a goal setting workbook that I created a little bit back. It's going to be coming out in Amazon on Amazon in a couple of weeks, so you can actually get a printed version of it and you don't have to download it. But the thing that I like most about it is the actual goal setting part where you've got a place to create the big ticket item, maybe a year or more out. And then you break it down to your quarterly goals, your monthly goals, your weekly goals, your daily goals. It really helps you get all the way down from what it is that you're trying to accomplish to the day-to-day activities that are going to get you there and help you to be successful. So you guys will hear more about that soon as we start to put out the information about it. It's coming, but it's about 2 weeks out from yesterday. So I'm excited about that. So goal setting is more than this is what I want. That's a dream. That's a desire. That's a hope. But when you make it smart, when you get specific about it, when it's measurable, when it's attainable, when it's realistic, when it's time bound, now you've got a plan that's built around it, thought and commitment that's built into it, and you increase your likelihood of actually getting there. So you want to set really, really clear goals. You also want to tap into you. You want to get clear about what it is, who you are, how you function, what your beliefs are, what your values are, and you want to make sure that any goals that you're setting for yourself align with that. But you've got to know you. There are people who've been in your life all the time for a long time that may really know you, and you have to do the homework to get to know yourself, where you can be uncensored, unscripted, and unapologetically you. Uncensored, unscripted, unapologetically you. What does that person look like? What does that person sound like? How does that person show up in life? If you took the constraints off and you didn't feel like you had to be a certain way, you had to do certain things, you had to say and sound a certain way. If you didn't feel that way, how would you show up? What would you look like? What would you sound like? How would you interact with people? Those are important questions to ask yourself so that you can get really clear about who that self is, to really know you. What are you good at? What are things that you need to improve on? What are your core beliefs? Really put some time into that. You may journal, you may do some meditation, but self-reflection in quiet time to actually uncover the core of who you are as a person is some of the most important work that you'll ever do. Because when you get really clear about that, and you're not apologizing for that, you're not masking that and pushing it down, but you're actually in a place to where you're ready to live out loud as your authentic self, some of this other stuff will just start to fall into place. So spend some time with yourself, getting really comfortable and really aware about who you are at your most basic level, who you are at your core. And then when you build goals and when you're trying to align them with something, you're aligning them with the true person that is you, and the goals will be reflections of that. It'll be what you really want to accomplish. Okay. So first set clear goals and make sure that you're self-aware is the second thing. Spend that time necessary to dig in and really get to know yourself. And then you want to practice self-care. Transformation is hard. It's not an easy thing. You're talking about something about your life or about you that you want to change dramatically. We're not talking about change for the sake of change, but you've looked at your life and you've decided that there's something that you really want to be different. It could be in your person. You want to get stronger. You want to lose weight. You want to gain weight. There's something physically that you want to change about yourself. That's just one level of change. Maybe it's about your relationships. You want to be more present with your family. I know I do. I struggle with that because I'm so tired most of the time these days. My job has changed, more responsibility, and I'm still trying to keep this schedule and get up extra early to do this before I start the job. And then me and my husband actually typically work out for 45 minutes to an hour before this live, which is at 7:15 in the morning, my time. So by the time 2, 3, 4 o'clock rolls around, I'm exhausted. I'm ready to shut down the workday and just sleep. There's no food in that. There's no relationship with family in that. There's no checking in and seeing how my son's day went or what's happening in my husband's day. I am sleeping. So No, Mike, I am 55, 55. And so, this past weekend I had my granddaughter with me and it was such a great day. Just hanging out with a 4-year-old at her mercy, doing whatever it was she wanted to do and just enjoying life. There's not enough of that time in most of our days because we're building and grinding and going through the motions to create the next thing. It really, really, really is important to build in that self care. So after church on Sunday, I slept. It was the only thing I could do. I slept. And then when I recharged my battery and got up, I hung out with the husband and we watched some movies and caught up on some of our favorite shows. But I had to be intentional about that because if I'm not, it's so easy to just slide into doing the things that I want to do right then and there and then falling asleep when it's over to recharge the battery. So I have to be really conscious about who's important in my life, what's important in my life, and carving out time for those things. Spending time with my husband, spending time with my grandkids, my daughters, my son, that's a part of my self-care. That recharges me. I typically get my nails done. I love having my nails done and my brows done and getting massages and things like that. So at least once or twice a month, I go through my beauty care routine. That's a part of my self-care. I know I have to sleep. So it's not uncommon for me to take a nap somewhere between 2 and 4 in the afternoon because I've had a whole bunch of day that has already passed. My days typically start around 5, and then I've got a bunch of day left. I have all the evening stuff that I have to get done. So when my body tells me that it's time for a nap, I do my best to get it, give it that. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself, that you're getting sleep, that you're exercising regularly, that you're eating healthy, and the things that make you happy, the things that you enjoy that relax you. Sometimes the world may judge those things. Like me, I call it brain dead TV. I get a hoot out of watching those crazy housewives in whatever city or something because I'm just amazed. I'm like, man, they have what most people really want. They don't have typically a bunch of financial issues. They live in beautiful homes. They have their husbands, they have their kids, and somehow they figure out how to be miserable. They will find a way to fight and have drama. And I just laugh at it, going, that's just crazy, that in the midst of all this beauty you can find drama. And so it's just a way that my brain relaxes and I'm not thinking about the real life. I'm tapped into somebody else's fake real life. So some people are like, that's such a waste of time, that's trash TV. It is, but it's a way that I relax myself, and so I don't make any apologies for it. I actually enjoy that time, and I don't typically watch it in real time because I'm doing something. But I'll record, and then when I carve out some my brain dead time, my time for my brain just to relax, I may watch 2 or 3 episodes of something that I haven't seen in a while because I've been too busy. So know yourself. Know what relaxes you and know what doesn't. Like I can't watch that stuff at night when my husband's getting ready to go to bed because typically those people are bickering. There's fighting and arguing and all this drama going on. And even though he's asleep, I can see that him restless because that energy that they're putting off, it's anything but relaxing to him when he's trying to wind down. So I know that that's not the time for me to try and catch up on that kind of stuff because I'm going to disturb his peace. And then so you want to really tap into, know what relaxes you, and give yourself some time to do the things that are self-care to you. What self-care to me is not self-care to the next person. My sister-in-law could care less about getting her nails done, where her daughter, on the other hand, absolutely loves it. So when they're in town, me and the daughter will usually have an aunt daughter day where we go do nails. But if I want to do something with my sister-in-law, it's going to be something else because that's not really her thing. And that's okay. There's no judgment there. We just get different things light us up. And the more you know about yourself and the people that you're close to, the better decisions that you can make and the better interactions that you can have with everybody. So take that time to really tap in. And then you want to embrace change. The only constant is change. Change is happening all the time. The question is, are you locked into it? Are you aware of it? Are you driving some of the change, or are you just being dragged along by it? We have choices that we make all day, every day. And most of them we make on autopilot. We're just not aware. So tapping in and being conscious and present and realizing what's going on will give you what you need to be more responsive to change instead of just being reactive to change. When we respond to something, it's thought out. It's the representation of ourselves. It's we're showing up how we would like to in that situation. And it's there's more brain in a response. When we are reacting, it's more emotion. So maybe we don't show up as the best version of ourselves because we're triggered and we're just lashing out to whatever it is that's happening. And there's so much change going on all the time that if we're not careful, we can live in reaction mode and just react, 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 react. And we're just spewing the lower version of ourselves all the time if we're not careful. But if we step back and become aware and conscious of what's going on around us, and how things are changing, then we can make good decisions so that we take advantage of that change instead of having it throw us into chaos. There's a lot of change going on at my job right now. In change is a lot of opportunity. I can see where things may go off the rails. I can see where I can use my skills to smooth things out, and I offer that up. So I try and be a part of the change and not resisting change to the point that it's making it difficult for me and everybody else. So how can you tap in and see the opportunity and the change that's going on around you, and how can you use that to propel you towards the life that you wanted, that you desire? That's how you embrace change. And then you want to learn. You want to keep investing in yourself, investing in your knowledge. I have learned so much by doing these lives. It's hilarious to look back at the first ones compared to now. There's still a lot of spit and polish. I'm sure somebody with, broadcasting experience, people with more social media experience, people who are better public speakers who've done it longer, they could come along and they could teach me some things and continue to polish me up. But when I look back at where I started versus where I am today, I can be very proud of myself. I can be proud of the journey and I can see it. The very first couple lives, there was no branding. My name wasn't there. My tagline wasn't there. For those of you who are on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube, you can see my website scrolling up, below my name, and my brand colors are there, and that pretty chocolate and kind of rose gold. Those are things that I learned. I've learned different tools. I'm talking to you guys on 5 different platforms right now. I've got my iPad right here, and I'm looking at my TikTok audience. I've got my laptop in the middle, and I'm talking to YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And then no, YouTube, yeah, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And I have my phone in a lighted cage to my right, and I'm talking to my Instagram audience. Those are things that were intimidating to me just a few weeks ago. Just to get on and be able to do it once to one audience was a big deal. And now to have figured out how to light it, how to put a little music in the background, how to put the brand colors on, and how to talk to all the major social media outlets at once, that's a big accomplishment for me. None of this is, it's not where my skills lie. So it's all been learning. And then I study all the time so that I have something intelligent for us to continue to talk about. Every day of the week, we have the same topic. Every Monday, we talk about mindset. Every Tuesday, we talk about transformation. Wednesday is about being intentional on Wake Up Wednesdays. Thursdays, we talk about gratitude. It's Thankful Thursday. And Friday, we talk about focus and how you can focus in on your task and your desires to propel you towards those things. So you can imagine after a couple of weeks talking about the same thing every week, you can run out of stuff to say. So I have to study. I'm reading articles. I'm listening to other people. I'm reading books or listening to audiobooks. Sometimes, even if I'm at church and I'm listening to the pastor speak, something that he says may trigger a thought, and I write it down for to share with you guys. I look at quotes around these things all the time. It's common for me to start our broadcast and end it with quotes that I've picked up that align with the topic of the day. So I have to learn continuously. I have to embrace change. I have to prepare myself for what is coming. And how do I embrace change? I notice, there's certain lengths of time that people hang on, and then after a while people start to go away. Things like that. It's like, what's the sweet spot for this broadcast? I'm learning, evolving, changing, adding things, taking things away, kind of based on the feedback that I'm getting from the different audiences, and it's helping me to learn who's really interested in what I'm talking about and who may not be my target audience. Those are things that I've never thought about before. I just get up, turn on the lives, and talk about what's on my heart, and hopefully it resonates with somebody. But people are coming into my life that are helping me learn more about this process, which will make me be more effective in how I'm showing up and what I'm presenting. So I'm learning all the time. So don't be afraid to learn. See that as yet another opportunity to improve on whatever it is that you're doing. And then there's the big one: take action. We can plan, we can analyze, we can talk about it, we can get excited and rah rah. But if we don't put any energy behind it and actually begin to take the steps to move us towards our goals, it's all just a dream, right? It's all just a dream. But when you start to do the work, each day making choices that are going to move you towards what it is that you desire, each day investing in you, taking care of yourself, being, reminding yourself of your journey and how far you've come, but taking actionable steps every day, even if it's just one. If you take one step a day for a year towards your goal, that's 365 steps farther than you would have been if you'd done nothing. And what if you're like me and you're a to-do list type of person? So you're taking 3, 4, 5 steps a day. That math adds up quickly. And before you know it, you're standing right at the door of what it was you wanted to achieve. It can be done. I've done it over and over again. I know you guys have done it too, but you just have to remind yourself and realize that you've done it. We accomplish so much more than what we give ourselves credit for. So take a look at your life some days. And even if it's not, you don't get excited by what you see, think about where it began. Think about how it began. Think about some of those darker days and realize that you're on the other side of those things. You've moved through them, and let that encourage you. Let that energize you. Let that help build your esteem so that you see just how strong you are. You see just how capable you are. You see just how valuable you are, just as you are. Just look at all that you've accomplished so far and give yourself a pat on the back. If you really enjoyed it, give yourself a hug. Give yourself a daily hug and go, you know what? My beginning did not dictate my current situation. Where I began and how I began in the small town that I grew up in, my family circumstances, our financial situation, none of that said, I bet this girl is going to make it in the big city. I moved to the state capital in 1986 to go to college, and I've never left. I've built a life here with me and my husband and our kids and our grandkids. I've had siblings that have moved to the area, nieces and nephews that have moved to the area, and we have our own little subset of our larger family right here. We're financially safe. We have a roof over our heads, hot and cold running water. I don't even have to turn on the thing. I just tap it and the water comes on. Things that we take for granted. They're big deals. The little me didn't have all those things. So she's excited by some of the smallest stuff because look where her life is now compared to where it began. And I'm not knocking where it began. My strength came from my beginning. My resilience came from my beginning. My faith in God came from my beginning. My faith in humanity came from my beginning because there was always people there cheering me along, telling me that I could. There were people doing the opposite, but I don't focus on them. There were people who always saw something in me, and they tell me today I'm not surprised. I might be surprised, but there's people who were watching me along the way as a little person today. I'm not not surprised that you've made a good life for yourself. You were always this or you were always that. So you never know who's watching. I also hear people say, I made this decision because of you. I have a cousin who I adore. This guy has always, he's younger, but I've always looked up to him. He's always been well spoken. He's always been busy in the community. My cousin, we call him Duck, but his name is Douglas. He's always been that person that was doing something and helping somebody. And he told me that I was the first person that he knew to go to college. He heard a conversation about me and my husband where we had been on a vacation 20 years ago. That was the first time that he'd heard about family member, people that he knew taking, full vacations, going out of into another state or another country, things like that. And he said that inspired him. As he was talking, I literally felt like I was melting because I just couldn't imagine this guy seeing me that way. But I forget that I'm the older cousin. So by birthright, I would have done things before he did. But we were so close in age that I didn't put any real thought into it. But to hear him talk about how he saw my life and how that has impacted him and some of the decisions that he made, phew, mind blowing. And I guarantee you, you have people that are looking at you the same way. You might not see it, you might not understand it, but people see your struggle. They see you continue to smile. They see you continue to strive. They see you to knock down obstacles. They see you knocking down obstacles and making things happen regardless of what's going on around you. And you are inspiring someone. You are encouraging someone. So I hope you look in the mirror and do that for yourself as well. So take the action and realize that you've been taking action all this time and that's gotten you to this point. So if you'll just hone in on what it is that you desire and what it's going to take for you to get there and start putting action behind those things, watch your life continue to unfold. Watch it continue to move forward and for you to get closer and closer to the life that you desire. So take action and then tap into your community. Where's your support system? Who do you have that you trust with your dreams? Everybody doesn't deserve access to your dreams. They don't, because some people are not dreamers themselves. So they have a hard time with other people's dreams. It's scary to them. It's outside of what's comfortable. And if you're not really rooted in it, they will start to dismantle that dream and make you doubt yourself. So you be careful who you share your dreams with. But who is that? Who's that person that's always there for you? Who's that person that will cheer you on and hold you accountable for what it is that you say that you're all about? That's the person or the people. That's that little community. That's that support system that you can tap into. You're it for someone else, but make sure you're clear on who that is for you, because this type of life, living it out loud, living it in front of the camera, talking about your hopes and your dreams and what it is you want to accomplish. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes it's scary. You feel like you're walking around with no skin. That's how I feel. Sometimes, like I just ripped my skin off and I have no protection. I'm just bare. I just put it all out there. And sometimes I second guess it for a minute. And then I tell myself somebody needed to hear it. Somebody needed to know that part of my story. That's why it came up today. And then I feel better. So know how to support yourself, know how to talk yourself through those doubting moments of that time where you're wondering if you're making the right decision, if you're on the right course, and have a community of people, or at least one or two that you really trust with the most transparent parts of yourself and those that can help you stay encouraged as you move towards your dreams. And I think that's all seven. Yes. So let me quickly run through the 7 steps. Be really clear first about your goals. Be clear. Make sure they're smart goals and you know exactly what it is you're wanting to accomplish. Be aware of yourself. Spend time knowing what's important to you, what your values are, what you care about most. Develop that self awareness and attach your goals to that person, that purest form of yourself. If you're goal setting from that place, then you're really setting things that are relevant and important to you, and you're more likely to get there. Practice self care. It's hard. This human experience can be difficult. So you have to take care of yourself. Judy said, I gave myself a hug. Good for you, Judy. So there's nothing wrong with the self hug. I'm a hugger, so I hug people all the time. But sometimes I've got to encourage and love and uplift myself. And we all have that ability to do it. We just have to remember that we do. Practice self care, embrace change. It's the only constant, it's going to happen. Get outside your comfort zone. I said yesterday, comfort and progress will not coexist. You will not find them in the same place. So when you find yourself in a place where you're uncomfortable, realize that that's an opportunity for you to expand from where you are, to learn something new, to do something differently. Change brings forth opportunity. So don't miss the opportunity in that uncomfortable change. Learn continuously. Keep whatever it is that you're interested in, keep pouring more of that into yourself. If you want to learn a new skill, a new way of doing something, it keeps you hopeful, it keeps you excited, it keeps the juices flowing. And learning is always going to help with whatever it is that you're trying to do. So immerse yourself in what it is that you desire. The most important one to me, take action. Everything up to that point is preparation, but it's preparing you to do something. If you don't do something, then you lose the momentum that you could have, and what's actually going to move you towards completing those goals that you have for yourself. So you have to take action, and then you want to make sure that you've got a good support system for yourself. You support yourself first internally, and that you've got at least one person. They're going to celebrate your wins with you. They're going to encourage you when things didn't go the way that you expected, and they're just going to be there cheering you on along the way. So those are the seven. Let's see. Roseanne said, will this be available to view later for the seven? So yes, all the lives, Roseanne, are recorded. So right after this, I see you're watching on LinkedIn. You'll see the it'll say the live has ended and the video will be available. And then I'll also, if you guys would like, I can write as a comment those seven steps to just to make it easy for you guys to grab a hold of those. And he said the process of growing, of being better, is the best part of achieving success. I agree. I think sometimes, Any, we're so focused on that end goal, whatever it is that we're working towards, that we don't recognize all the learning and all the strength and the growing and the stretching that we're doing along the way. You gain so much well before you actually accomplish whatever that is that you're going after. That's why people always you hear people all the time say it's not the destination, it's the journey. On that journey, stuff's happening. You're learning things. Life is expanding. But if you're so focused down the road on that end goal, you miss everything that's happening along the way. That's why I encourage those milestones. Create those milestones, and those are periods of reflection. Those are periods of celebration. Those are periods to acknowledge the progress that you're making along the way. So it's important that if you've got a goal, that you have those increments along the way to do those things. Judy says becoming is better than being. Yes, the evolution of becoming. When you have become, when you're being, you're stagnant. It's a done deal. But when you're becoming, that transformation is continuing, and you're continuing to evolve, and that's a beautiful process. Kimberly said, a friend of mine once said, Kimberly, it's okay to be selfish sometimes. I didn't understand at first. He meant don't let them keep sucking the life from you. Yeah, and I like what Iyanla Van Zant says about selfish. She says taking care of yourself, putting yourself first, filling your cup, making sure your battery is charged. That's not selfish. That's self full. That's full, filling up your tank, so that when you do connect with other people, when you do see a need, when you are trying to be there for somebody else, you're giving from a full tank, not from an empty tank. You can't give what you don't have. If you're so tired, if you're so burnt out, if you're stretched so thin, what do you really have to give to anybody else? You're barely hanging on for yourself. That's why self care is important. Putting yourself first. When you're on the airplane, that's what they tell us. Put on your oxygen mask first, and then secure the oxygen for everybody around you. It doesn't mean that you don't care about the life of everyone else. It means that you're not in a position to really be helpful if you're not breathing yourself. So you put that mask on, you take in that fresh air, and then you reach out to others and make sure that they have what they need to breathe as well. But it starts with taking care of yourself. Can you imagine you get up, there's an emergency, you forget your mask, and you're running around and you're helping as many people as you can, and before you know it, you're out of oxygen. You've passed out. You can no longer help all those other people that you would have if you had taken in that life extending breath for yourself. So you've got to put your mask on. That's not selfish. That's self-full. I try to give what I can afford to give. And I'm not talking about just finances. I'm talking about my energy. I'm talking about my time. If I'm giving you my time and I haven't spent any with my husband, then I'm giving from a place of emptiness. I'm giving from a place of lack. I'm creating issues for myself someplace else. If I haven't paid all my bills, but I'm trying to help you pay yours, I'm giving from a place of lack. So I have to secure home first. I have to take care of myself and make sure that all is well there. And now what I have is truly mine to give, and my hands are open. When you're operating from lack, your hands are closed. You're trying so your best to hold on. Am I going to have enough food? Am I going to have enough money to make the bills for the month? Am I going to have enough time to get all these things done? So your hands are not open when you're operating from a place of lack. You're hanging on with everything that you have just to make your ends meet. So you've got to take care of yourself. And as you take care of yourself and you know that you're secure, you start to relax. And as you relax, your hands open and you find yourself in a position to give and to share, and everybody's better for it. So that's it for today, guys. I am Cassandra Terry, your manifesting miracle maker. I'll be back tomorrow at 7:15 Central for tomorrow's Wednesday already, Wake Up Wednesday, where we'll talk about being intentional. So please join me then. Share the live. If you catch this after the broadcast is ended, hashtag replay. Let me know that you were there. Leave your comments. I will absolutely respond as quickly as I can. And we will do this again all over tomorrow. I mentioned, you'll see for some of you guys, you see pinned in your comments that I've got a course, and it's called Transforming Your Inner Critic into Your Inner Advocate. It's a free mini course that's available online, self-paced. It doesn't take very long. It's just introducing myself to and my coaching and teaching style. It introduces it and the concepts that you hear me talk about all the time. It goes into those in more detail. So just reach out if you'd like to get that course. DM me, send me your email, and I will get it over to you right away. And with that, we have gone very long today, and I thank you guys for hanging in there. And I think I mentioned to you earlier, I've got a new book that's coming out in 2 weeks on the 29th. I'm excited about that. It's going to be available on Amazon. Details to follow. I'll actually start posting about it a little bit more this afternoon. I'm excited about it, but it will help you guys with your goal setting. And it'll help you get clear about what it is you really want. So all the things that we kind of talked about today, they're broken down, and then you've got a workbook where you can really work through and create those goals and get everything documented. So that's it for today, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Transformation Tuesday. If you don't know anything else, know that you are worth it. Know that you are worthy. Know that you are capable. Operate from that space and watch your life open up in ways that you could not imagine. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.